A 40-year-old goalkeeper nicknamed Little Grandmother. Germany losing on penalties. A world champion missing not one, but two penalties in the same tournament, and still finding a way to win. If you think you've seen it all at a World Cup, this one's about to prove you wrong. The 2026 World Cup has already given us underdog heroics, last-minute comebacks, and moments that entire nations will be talking about for generations. So grab a seat, because we're counting down the 10 best matches of the tournament so far, and trust me, picking just 10 was not easy. Let's get into it. This year's tournament expanded to 48 teams for the first time ever, and a lot of people were skeptical going in. So without further delay, in no particular order, here are the 10 best matches of the 2026 World Cup so far. 1. Cape Verde 0-0 Spain, Group H, June 15th. We're starting with a game that on paper shouldn't belong on a best matches list at all. A goalless draw. Sounds dull, right? Not this one. This was Cape Verde's very first match at a World Cup, and standing between them and disaster was 40-year-old goalkeeper Vozinha, whose name literally translates to Little Grandmother. He didn't play like one. Vozinha produced save after save, denying the reigning European champions time and time again, and walked away with a point that ended up being priceless. That single point helped the debutants escape a brutal group featuring two former World Cup winners and Saudi Arabia. Sometimes a 0-0 is the loudest statement a team can make, and this was one of them. Think about the pressure Vozinha was under. It was Cape Verde's first ever World Cup match. Played against a Spain side many had tipped to go all the way, and every single save carried the weight of an entire nation's dream. He didn't just survive the game, he turned it into a personal highlight reel, diving low, diving high, and standing tall in one-on-ones that should have ended in goals. By full time, the story wasn't about Spain's dominance in possession or their chances created. It was about one goalkeeper refusing to let his country's World Cup debut end in defeat. 2. Portugal 1-1 DR Congo, Group K, June 17th. Not every unforgettable moment needs a classic match around it. Sometimes all it takes is one header. Rose above the Portuguese defense to plant home DR Congo's first ever World Cup goal. Think about that for a second. The very first goal in that nation's World Cup history. And he didn't score it against just anybody. He scored it against pre-tournament favorites Portugal and against Cristiano Ronaldo on the opposite side of the pitch. That header secured a priceless draw and gave an entire country a memory that will outlive the tournament itself. DR Congo had waited decades for a moment like this. A first appearance at the World Cup finals, and now a first goal to go along with it. The scenes in the stands and back home told the whole story. Grown men in tears, streets erupting, a nation watching its footballing history being written in real time. And it came against the backdrop of Cristiano Ronaldo potentially playing his final World Cup, which only added another layer of poetry to the moment. Two very different stories, colliding in one stadium on one night. 3. England 4-2 Croatia, Group L, June 17th. Group L kicked off with fireworks. England and Croatia went blow for blow in one of the most entertaining group stage clashes of the tournament. Croatia came out swinging, twice pulling level against the Three Lions in a chaotic first half that saw 4 goals fly in before the break. But class eventually won out. Jude Bellingham and Marcus Rashford both found the net in the second half to seal the win. For neutrals, this was pure theater. End to end, no defending, and goals from start to finish. 4. Austria 3-3 Algeria, Group J, June 28th. Here's the thing about dead rubber games where a draw sends both teams through. They're usually boring. Nobody wants to risk it. This one broke that rule completely. 6 goals were shared between Austria and Algeria in a genuine roller coaster. When Riyad Mahrez struck in the 93rd minute to put Algeria 3-2 ahead, it looked like Austria's tournament was about to end in heartbreak. Then, just 3 minutes later, Sasa Kalajdzic rose to head home a dramatic equalizer. Final whistle, 3-3, and both nations through to the knockout rounds. A game that had absolutely no business being this entertaining. 5. Germany 1-1 Paraguay, 3-4 on penalties. Round of 32, June 29th. There's an old football cliche. 22 men chase a ball for 90 minutes, and at the end, the Germans win. Except increasingly, that's just not true anymore. Paraguay needed extra time and penalties to get past Germany, and when it came down to spot kicks, the usually ice-cold Germans completely fell apart. Jonathan Tah blazed his effort over the bar and into the stands, sealing one of the most stunning upsets of the tournament. Paraguay through, Germany out. A genuine collector's item of a result. 6. Belgium 3-2 Senegal. Round of 16, July 1st. For long stretches of this game, Senegal looked comfortable, and Belgium looked completely out of ideas. Habib Diarra and Ismaila Sarr had Senegal 2-0 up and cruising toward the quarterfinals. Then football did what football does. Belgium clawed back 2 goals in the final 5 minutes of normal time through Romelu Lukaku and Yuri Tielemans, dragging the game into extra time. And in the 125th minute, with penalties just moments away, Tielemans stepped up and converted from the spot to complete an almost impossible turnaround. Senegal's hearts were broken. Belgium went on to face the USA in the round of 16, in a game where, let's just say, very little of note happened. What made this one so special wasn't just the scoreline swing, it was the sheer disbelief on the faces of the Senegalese players as the game slipped away from them in real time. They had done everything right for over 115 minutes, and then 2 moments of Belgian brilliance, followed by a cool finish from 12 yards, undid all of it. It's the kind of collapse and comeback that gets replayed for years. A reminder that in knockout football, nothing is safe until the referee blows the final whistle. 7. Portugal 2-1 Croatia. Round of 32, July 2nd. 2 of the greatest midfield and attacking talents of a generation, Cristiano Ronaldo and Luka Modric, on the same pitch for what everyone knew would be the last time at this level. The occasion delivered. Ivan Perisic opened the scoring to set the tone for a thrilling end-to-end contest. Both sides had goals chalked off for offside, both hit the woodwork, and the game genuinely could have gone either way. In the end, it was Goncalo Ramos who won it with a header, though there was late controversy at the other end. Josko Gvardiol thought he'd equalize deep into stoppage time, only for VAR to step in. Replays showed the ball had brushed off Igor Matanovic's hair on its way to Mario Pasalic, who set up the goal, ruling it offside. A brutally fine margin to decide such a huge match. 8. Argentina 3-2 Cape Verde. Round of 32, July 3rd. Cape Verde again, because of course they are. This time it was Lionel Messi doing the early damage, floating a gorgeous ball over the defense and finishing past Vozinha to put the world champions in front. For a moment, it looked routine. It was anything but. The World Cup debutants refused to fold, playing with a heart and courage that had the entire tournament rooting for them. The absolute highlight, and arguably the single best moment of the tournament so far, was Sidney Lopes Cabral's stunning strike from the edge of the box that nearly forced extra time. Argentina eventually found enough to get over the line, but Cape Verde didn't win a single match at this World Cup and still managed to capture the hearts of fans everywhere. That's the magic of an expanded tournament, giving smaller nations their stage. 9. England 3-2 Mexico. Round of 16, July 5th. Before kickoff, all anyone could talk about was the altitude, the weather, and the wall of noise waiting for England on the road. The nerves were real. Those nerves seemed unfounded when Jude Bellingham scored his second of the game in the 38th minute to put England firmly in control. But by the 54th minute, England were down to 10 men. The score had shifted to 2-1, and the anxiety came rushing back. Penalties on both sides made it 3-2, and that's when Thomas Tuchel unleashed his secret weapon. Daniel Johnson Byrne, heading away everything that came near him, like a man clearing his own driveway of snow. England held on for a famous win, and fans back home spilled out of pubs at 5 a.m., blinking into the sunrise, singing together on their way to what were surely the least productive work shifts of the year. 10. Argentina 3-2 Egypt. Round of 16, July 7th. The world champions have made a habit of living dangerously this tournament, and this might be the closest call yet. Argentina found themselves 2-0 down with just 11 minutes of normal time remaining. To make matters worse, Messi missed his second penalty of the tournament. It looked over. Then, somehow, Argentina found 3 goals in the closing stages to snatch the win before full time even elapsed. Egypt cried foul, pointing fingers at the officiating, but the truth is the game was there to be won, and Argentina simply refused to let it slip. Thrilling, controversial, and heartbreaking in equal measure. This is exactly the kind of chaos that makes the World Cup the World Cup, and there you have it. If you had to pick just one moment from this list as your favorite, drop it in the comments. I want to know which game got you off your seat the most. Was it Cape Verde's heroics, England's roller coaster nights, or Argentina's habit of cutting things impossibly close? Let me know down below, and if you enjoyed this rundown, smash that like button, subscribe for more World Cup content as the tournament rolls on, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next countdown when the knockout rounds really heat up. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.